2022 was an excellent year for games, and in my opinion, one of the best years since 2017. After much deliberation, I present to you my top 10 ranking. These opinions are my own, and I apologize if your favorite game isn't here. With that out of the way, let's start with number 10. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are huge improvements over their predecessors Sword and Shield, and make a strong case for a fully open-world Pokemon adventure, but are let down by unacceptably bad performance issues and a distinct lack of effort and polish in certain areas. Journeying across the Paldea region, players are given 18 challenges to complete in any order they like, while exploring the new open world and catching new Pokemon. Traversal across the huge map is made fun with a new rideable Pokemon, Koraidon or Miraidon depending on your version, and the 18 challenges are part of 3 story arcs. Once all 3 are completed, you'll cap off your adventure with a show-stopping final chapter, which subverts all Pokemon storytelling tropes and sets an exciting precedent for the future of mainline games. While this is the greatest Pokemon storytelling has been since Black and White, and the sheer variety of new Pokemon and changes to the core gameplay formula are wholly positive, the game's considerable number of flaws prevent it from being a truly great game. Its notoriously buggy performance issues at launch will forever go down as one of the greatest failures of the Pokemon franchise. Furthermore, the relentlessly loud and perpetually cheery music blasting in your ear the whole time represents a backward step from the dynamic and atmospheric music of Legends Arceus, and the awkward lack of voice acting demonstrates an unacceptable lack of effort from the world's most profitable media franchise. Still, there's more positive than negative here, but the negative points prevent it from being higher on my list. Regardless, it's reignited the long dormant spark I have for this franchise, and I'm truly excited to see what's next for Pokemon. I made a video sharing my predictions for the future of the Pokemon franchise, so be sure to check that out later. Sonic Frontiers is a return to form for Sega's beloved mascot. Finally, Sonic Team have started putting effort into their games and have started caring about their audience. It's a huge step up from recent Sonic games as Sonic makes his bold foray into 3D open-world platforming. Thrust into a desolate island setting, Sonic must rescue his friends from their imprisonment in cyberspace, uncover ancient mysteries, and save the world from a powerful destructive force. It's the most intriguing setup for a Sonic game ever, and makes for some great world building. Running around open zones is fun, as is taking down colossal Titan bosses with Sonic's new range of combat abilities. Combat is mostly punchy and satisfying, but let down by moments of jankiness from time to time. It boasts a powerful, bombastic soundtrack that deftly blends orchestral, electronic, and heavy metal elements into one of the best game soundtracks of recent memory. However, it's still a Sonic game. The performance issues, especially on the Switch and PS4 versions, are unacceptable and prevent Frontiers from being truly great. It's also let down by a multitude of gameplay and narrative issues. Still, it's a step in the right direction for the much maligned Sonic franchise, and I'm excited to see what Sonic Team come up with next. With an alternate take on the storyline of Fire Emblem Three Houses, Three Hopes puts you in the role of a new mercenary character, Shez. After choosing one of 3 storylines, the destiny of Three Houses repeats itself with a new protagonist, as old rivalries flare up and war between kingdoms breaks out again. But this time, events play out differently to its predecessor, the world building fleshed out even more, and character motivations further explored. It's an excellent counterpart to Three Houses, with the turn-based gameplay of Three Houses replaced by insane 1 vs 1000 action battles. Three Hopes deftly blends the frenetic action of the Warriors franchise with the strategy, character customization, and relationship support system of Fire Emblem. Battles are thrilling, the character moments are rewarding, and it's highly replayable, as I found myself playing through all 3 storylines and maxing out character classes. It's a joy to be immersed in this world again, as Three Houses already laid the groundwork for some of the best game lore in recent memory, and voice actors return to their roles and give outstanding performances. Unfortunately, all 3 storylines are left unresolved at their respective endings, and there's a disappointing lack of depth to the new companion character Arvel and their role in this universe. While most of the music is exciting and slaps during battle sequences, all of the cutscene and support conversation music is recycled from Three Houses. It's not bad music, but if you had already gotten 100% completion on Three Houses and aim for 100% in Three Hopes, you'll get incredibly tired of it. Additionally, those who haven't played Three Houses might not have any incentive to play Three Hopes, as the narrative and character motivations won't make much sense. And as an overall package, it's not quite as smooth or as fun as Koei Tecmo's last game, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. You'll absolutely love Three Hopes if you're a fan of Fire Emblem and Warriors, but if you're not, you won't find much here for you. Nintendo's flagship shooter is back and better than ever, boasting insane quality of life improvements, increased variety in weapons and game modes, and the best single-player story mode in all 3 games of the series. With a story mode that expands upon the franchise's much-neglected lore and ends in a dazzling outer-space climax, Splatoon 3 has finally delivered a high-quality storytelling experience, a first for the franchise. While it's far from perfect, it's a charming step in the right direction for world building, boasted by fun levels that offer a wide variety of challenges. However, being a competitive shooter, online play is where Splatoon 3 truly shines. Turf War is fun and fast to jump in and out of, and never feels repetitive. The redesigned lobby allows for practice between matches, and connecting with friends has been streamlined to become faster than Splatoon 2. When starting a new match or respawning, players have some choice in where to spawn from on their side of the map, allowing for better teamwork and implementation of strategies without the need for voice chat. The highlight of Splatoon 2, Salmon Run, is back and better than ever with expanded modes, perpetual availability, and quality of life improvements. The ability to throw salmon eggs makes it a faster and tighter experience. And finally, continued online updates with Splatfest and the new Big Run ensure players have something new to do or have a reason to return to the game. Accompanied by outstanding visuals and performance for a Switch game, as well as funky electronic music, Splatoon 3 is a well-rounded multiplayer experience, and easily the best game for online on the Switch console. In the future, I'd like to see the Splatoon series experiment more with single-player narrative content. This game perfects the style of single-player story mode that has been iterated on over the last 2 games and Splatoon 2's Octo Expansion DLC, but next time I'd like to see an entirely new approach for single player. While single player in Splatoon 3 is good, there's still room for improvement, and prevents Splatoon from being a perfect game. Kirby finally makes a thrilling jump into 3D with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Sucked into an alternate post-apocalyptic dimension by a malevolent force, Kirby teams up with Elfilin to rescue imprisoned Waddle Dees from the nefarious Beast Pack and restore peace to the universe. It's a typical Kirby setup, but pays off incredibly at the end. Recent Kirby games have hinted at this deeper, darker universe-destroying lore hidden from sight, and the later portion of this game leans hard into it with insane boss fights against multiversal abominations. It has to be played to be believed, but never has a Kirby story felt this exciting. The 3D gameplay works well and has a surprising amount of challenge for a Kirby game. For the first time, Kirby's copy abilities are upgradable, giving him some insanely powerful abilities and ludicrous hat designs. Boss fights are replayable in the Colosseum, which makes it worth revisiting to refine your strategy and beat them faster every time. The new gimmick Mouthful mode is a delightful one, with Kirby assuming the shape and function of an inhaled object, like a car, vending machine, or traffic cone. These are mostly used for simple environmental puzzles, and while looking cute, are not much more than a cute distraction rather than a game-changing mechanic. Still, it gives Forgotten Land a distinct personality from other Kirby games and rounds out the overall satisfying experience. The music is fully orchestrated and cycles through a variety of genres, with each track matching its accompanying environment perfectly. A vocal theme song accompanies the game nicely, making Forgotten Land a treat for all the senses. Its only downsides are the story's relatively short length and easy difficulty, but this is what consumers expect from a Kirby game after all. Forgotten Land is an exciting entry into the Kirby canon, and I'm looking forward to seeing another 3D Kirby game in the future. The long-awaited third chapter in the Bayonetta franchise delivers on fans' expectations and justifies its long wait. Bayonetta is back, pulled into a multiversal war threatening the balance of the universe. With a shadowy villain and their legions of bioweapons out to destroy every dimension of the multiverse, it's up to Bayonetta and new character Viola to reach the Alphaverse and prevent multiversal annihilation. These are some of the highest and most epic stakes of any game ever, while Bayonetta meets multiversal variants of herself, battles colossal enemies, and masters an insane variety of weapons. The variety in this game is staggering, as every battle feels like a new experience, and players will want to master every weapon and playstyle, making it a highly replayable experience. Visual design is incredible, especially Bayonetta's multitude of outfits. It's by far the best and most complete entry in the Bayonetta franchise. Its only downsides are some poor performance issues, as this game is pushing the limits of what the Switch is capable of, as well as sections where you're forced to play as Viola, who is nowhere near as fun to use as the title character. Still, it's a campy, epic, and engaging experience, with a strong vocal performance from Jennifer Hale as the title character, a sweeping orchestrated score, and outstanding combat and boss battles. Finally, a breath of incredibly fresh air for the stale Pokemon formula. When suddenly transported back in time to the feudal Hisui region, you're tasked by the Galactic Expedition team with researching Pokemon native to the area. You'll explore the continent, battle other trainers, take on legendary Pokemon, and do the usual Pokemon fare. While yet another Pokemon game, Legends Arceus finally experiments and improves upon the Pokemon legacy. Catching Pokemon from the overworld is a long-awaited improvement to the tedious catching process of previous games. It streamlines the overall experience and makes it more satisfying to come back to. Similarly, battles load directly from the overworld, and there are new changes to the battle formula with the speed style or strong style move gimmick. The decision to set the game in a rural historic setting inspired by feudal Japan was an inspired one, giving Pokemon fans something they've never experienced before, unless they're part of the rare few who've played Pokemon Conquest. The tonal shift immerses you in the game world more, feeling like you're exploring vast undiscovered frontiers, and gives the game a completely different atmosphere than traditional Pokemon games. The new Pokemon and regional forms introduced in the game are stellar designs that further enhance the experience. Adaptive and atmospheric music underscores the explorative aspects of the game, and is a nice change from the poppy and perpetually cheerful music of other Pokemon entries. However, the somewhat dull and lifeless overworlds with graphics and designs far below modern day standards is what we've come to expect from Game Freak, and is nothing short of disappointing. Additionally, the game's short length, tedious dialogue scenes with no voice acting and its unengaging story prevent it from being higher on the list. Still, I rank it above Scarlet and Violet for its innovative qualities, especially those related to catching and battling, its better performance, and the fact that Game Freak experimented with something new. I hope to see more Legends-style spin-offs in the future. The latest entry in the God of War franchise is nothing short of a storytelling masterpiece, accompanied by jaw-dropping visuals and outstanding vocal performances. Kratos and Atreus are back on an epic adventure spanning the 9 realms of Norse mythology. Atreus yearns for adventure and learns the truth of his role as Loki in the prophesized apocalypse, Ragnarok. At the same time, Kratos wants to protect his son. This is a prototypical father-son story, exaggerated to mythological proportions. A rebellious teenage son clashing with his overprotective father is nothing new, but the story is told in a profoundly emotional way that will resonate with players young and old. Ragnarok's environments and characters are rendered in stunningly beautiful detail, the likes of which I've never experienced before. The 9 different realms boast unique visual splendor, and every character's outfit and emotion is handcrafted right down to the finest detail. Paired with challenging and varied combat as well as an epic orchestrated soundtrack, all of the elements of the game cohere into an emotional cinematic experience unlike anything ever before in gaming, with its only flaws being the often overwhelming menu interface and RPG elements, as well as occasional pacing issues during exploration. It's an otherwise perfect experience and sets a platinum standard for AAA games going forward. I have no doubt whatever is next for the series will iterate and improve upon what Ragnarok has done, and I truly can't wait to see it. Mario and the Rabbids are back, leaving the Mushroom Kingdom and setting off across the galaxy to save the universe from an all-consuming dark entity. Teaming up with the Sparks and a new Rabbid warrior, Mario and friends engage in addictive turn-based battles while exploring strange new planets. Along the way, they meet the strange new Rabbid inhabitants, commentated by their hilarious robot companions. Ubisoft have managed to craft one of the most engaging strategy games of recent memory, and have improved upon and polished every single aspect of its predecessor, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The removal of grid-based movement, the expansive environmental design and soundtrack scored by 3 of the gaming industry's best composers makes for a well-rounded, thrilling and mature Mario experience. The scale of the project is significantly larger than Kingdom Battle, and Ubisoft have delivered a more confident and creative product. The only downsides are a major control issue and some inconsistent difficulty towards the end of the game. For more details, be sure to check out my review after this video. Otherwise, it's a stellar experience which blew me away, and I really hope this franchise will continue. With DLC featuring Rayman on the way, it's a great addition to your Switch collection and well worth your time. Before we get to number 1, I'd like to spotlight some other great games I played which didn't make the list. First is Stray, the cyberpunk cat game in which you explore a neon-drenched post-apocalyptic setting in the role of a feline. It's a short but sweet adventure, with its design and music achieving stylistic and atmospheric perfection. Next is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, a fast-paced brawler from the popular media franchise. Action is fast and satisfying, fan-favorite characters are brought to life better than ever before, underscored by outstanding retro music. And finally, Cuphead, the delicious last course, the expansion to one of my favorite games. With insanely difficult boss battles, brilliant character designs, top quality traditional animation, and a fully orchestrated soundtrack, it's a superb epilogue to one of the best games of recent years. And now, I present to you the best game of 2022. There could be no other choice for number 1. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is nothing short of a perfect, genre-defining JRPG. 6 rebels from opposing sides of a centuries-long war unite to form Ouroboros and travel the diverse landscape of Ionios to put a stop to Mobius, the puppet masters behind the world's eternal conflict. In this world, humans are given a 10-year lifespan, born into one of 2 sides of a war, and live in eternal strife against their enemy. Defeated enemies grant life force to their faction, incentivizing continued battle. If a faction's life force or flame clock stock runs out, they will suddenly turn into a husk, a fate worse than death. This is a 100-hour quest, with satisfying combat, an epic and cathartic story, and well-rounded, deep characters. A new class system allows you to level up and swap a character's class at any time, granting new abilities, weapons, and outfits. It's an incredibly customizable experience, but never feels overwhelming, only rewarding. Underscored by sweeping orchestrated music and some of the best voice acting in recent memory, this game is a treat for all the senses. Fans of the Xenoblade series will love the improvements to battles and callbacks to previous games, but it never leans too hard into nostalgia or fan service. Newcomers to the series can easily become immersed and will leave wanting to seek out Xenoblades 1 and 2. The team at Monolith Soft have delivered an excellent package, and it is not only one of the best Xenoblade games, but one of the best JRPGs ever made. If you haven't played it already, I can't recommend it enough. With expansive DLC on the way for next year, I cannot wait to see what's next for this franchise. 6 months later, I'm still thinking about this game, especially the epic boss fights and poignant story that will tug at the heartstrings of even the most jaded of gamers. Truly incredible stuff. If you haven't played it, please go and play it already. Well worth your time, and I'd love to play it again. Thanks for watching until the end. Surprised by the lack of Elden Ring? Well, I just never got around to it. It's something I'd like to play, despite not ever having touched a Soulsborne game before. I've been saving it for when I get a PlayStation 5, still an impossibility here in Japan, 2 years after its release. Those consoles are still perpetually out of stock. I haven't played Horizon Forbidden West either, as I didn't really like the first game. If there are any other games that you think I missed, please let me know. So, what did you think of my takes? What games did you enjoy the most in 2022? Leave a comment below, and as always, I'll be replying to everyone. Even if you didn't agree with my choices, please remember that the best game of 2022 is the one that you enjoyed the most. If you like this video, don't forget to drop a like for the algorithm. Also, half the games I talked about have their own detailed reviews on this channel, so feel free to check those out. Next year, I'm looking forward to playing games like Fire Emblem Engage, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as well as a whole bunch more. If you'd like to see more game reviews, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I'll see you next time.